Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? So, we're going to jump right into the discussion now. A few days ago in Nashville, Tennessee, a baby was found dead in her father's vehicle. And I use the term father very loosely because the child was actually adopted. Okay. Now, this is actually not national news. You know what I'm saying? I came across this story just actually browsing the net. You know what I'm saying? Like, the story popped up on a few like credible news source sites, you know what I'm saying, and some blogs or whatever. But when I read into the story, because like the main headline was, father, child left in father's pickup truck found dead or whatever. When I first read the story, it intrigued me. And it intrigued me because there was a few key factors that stood out to me. For one, the child was adopted, okay? And then I had also found out that the child was black and her adoptive parents were white, okay? And then also there was another child involved who I believe is actually, the couple's birth child. But it was another child involved. And then, they had talked about how the dad forgot when he dropped off the other child, which, mind you, both of the children attended the same, I believe, daycare center or whatever the case was. But he had forgot her and got back in the car, left the car, got in his what's he gonna call it, got in the Uber or whatever it was, and that was that. So like I said, it was a lot of key factors that stood out to me, and the story intrigued me. It intrigued me a lot. And of course, like I said, it wasn't national news because, hey, this child is no Casey Anthony. She's just another black baby lost in the casualty. She's a casualty of war. Straight up. That's just how I look at it. She's a casualty of war, and it is what it is. So as I read into the story, and I see that the cops, the couple, they were like, oh, it's being ruled as an accident, and then there's not going to be any charges filed because it was an accidental death. Bullshit. Straight up bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And it's bullshit because the baby was murdered. Let's call it what it is. The baby was murdered. Murdered. Red rum. Like, the baby was straight up murdered. Okay, I don't care if no charges are being filed. I don't care if it's being looked at as accidental, for whatever reason. And like I said, this is just another unfortunate black child, that was lost, casualty of warfare in the system. So her life, sadly, doesn't hold any value, especially for the time that we're living in. Nobody cares. Few people on the internet, they'll talk about it. Oh, how sad, they'll sympathize. And I've actually seen more people sympathize with the parents, and parents, like I said, that term is used very loosely, but I'm actually seeing more compassion shown to them than to the actual death of the child. Now, when it comes to adoption, it's a tricky situation because by no means do I want anybody to ever feel that all people that tend to want to adopt or seek to adopt are monsters, because they're not. You know what I'm saying? But that is a small majority. It really is, because there's many people that I've met, many people I've come across, even people that I know personally, that have either grew up in the system, whether it was being adopted or being fostered. And I can tell you that I hear more horror stories than I hear good stories. And yes, I do question people, okay, that tend to want to adopt outside of their race. And this is by no means, being racist or anything like that, or having anything against anybody. But yes, I do tend to side eye them, because listen, I understand that when you adopt, or when you want to adopt, or when you want to foster, yes, there are some people that they don't care, regardless of the sex, background, culture, ethnicity, whatever. They don't care. They like, listen, I just want a child. I want to show a child love. I want to give a child a good home. I want them to flourish, and I want to show them that even though I didn't give birth to them, that I love them and I can provide them with the same love and care that they would feel that a mother and father could give them. Yes, there are some people like that, but I have noticed, especially like within the recent years, it's been an extreme influx of white people that want to adopt black children. And to me, this is an agenda. I don't know what that agenda necessarily is. I mean, I have an idea, okay? But it's almost like having a pet. Like, seriously. And the reason I'm saying is because, like I said, by no means, everyone is not like that. Let's be clear on that. Everyone is not like that. But a great majority is. And I don't know what was necessarily happening with this baby, because this is probably going to be swept under the rug, or it's not even really going to be talked about. It's not, nobody's really going to care. Nobody's really going to talk about it. They're not going to go hard for this. Like I said, it's just, another black child. It's not a big deal because, black children in the system, they're not looked at as being important. They don't have a voice, and I feel like that's why some people feel the need to adopt black children, especially when they want to abuse them and do like real deviant, just horrendous things to them, because they know that nobody's gonna care, nobody's gonna pay attention, and it's just gonna be like, hey, whatever. Because this baby, I can almost bet she was abused in some way, whether it was mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually. Like, she had to be. I mean, who's to say that child really died in that vehicle? I'm just keeping it real. Who's to say something didn't go wrong, something didn't happen, and they felt we're going with that angle? Will the public ever know? Will we ever find out? Who knows? But I just can't believe that. Especially when there is another child involved, which is, their birth child, but there's no way as a parent that you can actually tell me that you forgot, because I side-eye accidental children's deaths, period. I'm not saying accidents don't happen, because yes, they do. You know what I'm saying? A car example is a prime example of an accidental death. I mean, there's many examples of it, but yes, accidents do happen. You hear about it. Children falling out of windows, children drowning in backyard pools. Yes, children could be very tricky. You take your eyes off of them for a second and anything can happen. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be funny here. Look, this, if anybody ever seen Pet Sematary, you know what I'm saying? The movie, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit can go down, and it can go down real quick. But there's no way that someone could tell me that they're in a vehicle with two children, a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old, and you forgot. Because when it comes to accidental deaths, I look at it like this, especially when it comes to children. You interact with that child, okay? Whether you're a single parent or it's a 2-parent home, you're interacting with that child, okay? You're interacting with that child when that child wakes up. You're interacting with that child when you're walking out that door, and you're interacting with that child when you get in that vehicle. Yes, I understand this is 2018, okay? Children are always occupied with something. A tablet, a phone. If they got a older sibling, the older siblings messing around with them. There's a DVD player in the car. Yes, children are occupied. But trust and believe, a 1-year-old, you're going to know they're around, okay? Because a 1-year-old is rambunctious. They're active. A 5-year-old, yes, I could see, you're definitely not going to forget a 5-year-old. They're talking, they're communicating. But a 1-year-old is way harder to control than a 5-year-old. And then the sibling is in the car too. Children inquire. That's just the nature of children, period. You see it every day. Oh, mommy, Katie, why does Katie have the pink hoodie on? Why does she? So There's no way that another child could have been in a vehicle and you were getting the child out of the vehicle and forgot about the other child. What kind of bullshit is this? What's going on? I mean, do I have to pretend like I'm a cop to figure out that this shit is bullshit? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. And then this is no disrespect to fathers at all, because there are like exceptional fathers out there. You know what I'm saying? That put it down. This single, same way there's single mothers, there's single fathers. But if there's one thing I do know, because this was by no means like the wife is involved in this shit as well. She's involved as well, because this is a 2-man show. And the reason why I'm saying this about fathers is because women, especially when it comes to children, like even if a man is left in charge of things, women just have the nature of following up. Like, and what I mean by that is like, yes, hey, maybe she had to leave the house early. Maybe her shift starts before his shift. You know what I'm saying? She got to get out and he has to follow up and do whatever he has to do with the kids. Or maybe he has to do what he got to do with the kids, period. She's just mom. Hey, it is what it is. But mothers usually inquire about the children like they, as if they're there. You know what I'm saying? If the dad is responsible, the mom is like, oh, did you make sure the kids eat? Okay, did Katie have did she wear the orange SpongeBob hat or the blue one? Okay, did you make sure you do this? Did you make, like, even if they are not physically there, they are still dictating in some way, shape, or form. So to me, there's no way that the child could have been forgotten. There's no way. The mom claims that, I guess before she went to pick up the children, or when she was going to pick up the children, that's when she called him. And then he realized like, oh, I forgot the baby in the vehicle. That's bullshit. Because like I said, that's just the nature of women. Yeah, are there some mothers that's not shit out there? Yeah, unfortunately, yes. That's the world we live in. But I'm not trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? There was a phone call had to be made before. And if not, then yes, something is very wrong. Like I said, this child, she was murdered. That's all there is to it. Like, she was murdered. Because when white couples adopt black children, to me, they have a reason, but it's not a good reason. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like a real, I'm not going to say vindictive, but I've seen too many videos and I've heard too many stories of them raising these children with like this slave-like mentality. So yes, I'm looking at this couple like something was going on in that home, and whether it's a neighbor or a friend, because yes, you never really know what's going on in someone's home. We see that all the time. You know what I'm saying? You got people like John Wayne Gacy. You know what I'm saying? He had a whole goddamn funeral home in his fucking basement. You know what I'm saying? You got people with sex dungeons. People got a whole house full of kids. Never seen the kids. The kids are living like as if they're people under the stairs. You never truly know. But friends, people that are close to these people, that kind of know these people in a sense, they kind of have a idea of their mentality. Okay, because I saw the pictures, the Facebook pictures, and the baby at the birthday party and all that. Like, they know something. And yes, some people, they know the horrible things that are going on, but they tend not to speak up, but it still weighs on their conscience. So I'm hoping that somebody comes out and says something. Like they say something like, yo, look more into this. This is no accident. She was like this, or he was like this. Because like I said, there's no way that this child could have been forgotten. I don't know. Was there a life insurance policy put out on this child? Did they feel like, oh, we don't want this baby no more, and this is our only way out. This is our only way to get rid of the baby. or was the child being abused and they wanted to cover it up? But this is no accidental death, and it pains me because, like I said, this child, she's not, unfortunately, she's not a Casey Anthony, so her story, yes, it will be talked about, but it's not gonna be, it's gonna be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be heard, but who's listening? So that's just my thoughts on this situation. Like I said, this was no accidental death. And I really hope that people see through this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? People really see that there's a cover up at hand here. And it needs to get out. It needs to get out.